what kind of character would LeBron James be in a Lifetime movie?
I would love to see LeBron play a villain and be like a lot of times if neighbor is in the title, the neighbor is insane, you know? So we're going to have him be like the cool neighbor. And you're like, oh my God, this like tall, awesome basketball player is my neighbor. But what he's really doing is like going through your trash, stealing your identity, and then like using that information to like commit crimes, because he can't commit crimes as LeBron James, but he like takes on the neighbor's identity to commit crimes. Can't you see him like poking his head out of a window like that? I would love that.
Welcome to Drinks with Binks. I'm Julie Stewart-Binks, and I'm so glad to be back drinking and binking with you and showing you just the personalities and stories of some of the most interesting people in the world. And today's guest comes from the comedy world, and I love to dip my toe into that pond. As awkward as it usually is, we have a professional here with us today who's also a massive sports fan. So it's just like when two become one. Perfect Spice Girls song for those of you who were a fan. And this particular guest, she has been everywhere, on Conan, on The Tonight Show, Comedy Central. She hosts a podcast, I Love a Lifetime Movie, as well as a writer on Pause with Sam J on HBO. None other than I'm toasting to a wonderful, funny woman in two male-dominated spheres, Megan Gailey. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Oh my God, and a Spice Girls reference? That's the best intro I've ever gotten.
Cheers to everything you've accomplished so far, and thank you for joining us on the show. I've got a Moscow Mule here, and what do you have?
So I'm coming to you from a Las Vegas hotel room, which sounds like I'm at the beginning of a rock bottom, but I'm not. I'm actually here for a family vacation. And so I am having a casino mimosa in a bathroom glass.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Are you sure that's a mimosa?
Yes. Yeah. Well, my husband went to get it for me, so who knows
what's actually in there.
Yeah. Maybe someone was trying to roofie him, but I doubt it. But so it definitely feels like interesting orange juice, but I like it in my bathroom glass.
I love it. Well, we do what we can, right? Especially on a family vacay in Vegas.
I'm just going to show up to see my family I have not seen in over a year and a half buzzed, but that's okay. That's probably the best way to see them.
Yeah, that's how they probably remembered you from before the pandemic. But
yeah.
Speaking of this past year, of course, you're in Vegas now. Things are starting to open up again. Like where are you now with comedy and what you're doing, as opposed to, I mean, obviously we know you were like locked down like the entire world, but what's it like now that the whole thing, like things are opening up again for you?
It's really special. Like you even like getting heckled feels beautiful now. Like the things that I used to hate, I've definitely like run into the arms of comedians I don't even like, but just like, I'm so happy to see you. And I've been to New York twice to do shows. That it feels very back in New York. Like shows are inside, packed, really fun. LA is taking a little bit longer just because, we have different governors, two famous governors, two governors that love the spotlight, if you know what I mean. But it's coming back and it feels amazing. Like it really, like I don't feel fully back. Like there's definitely parts of comedy that take true like muscle memory, and so some of that is gone, but it's a much more enjoyable process now. And I already see people being like, I'm not going to put up with BS that I put up with last time. And it's positive changes that are happening, I think. Okay,
so what kind of stuff?
We definitely had some predators outed in our field over the course of the last year and a half. And I think the community has taken a stand to be like, we're not gonna let that behavior go, and we're not gonna welcome those people back into all the spaces they were welcomed in. And I think being off for that many months gave people perspective, and we're like, in a lot of ways we weren't being treated with just the baseline of comfort and respect that you get in almost every profession in the world. And so it's like, we just need a baseline, guys, and we're not going to tolerate anything that's below that.
Okay, well, that's a good change, at least, too. Everyone just like coming together, like, no predators allowed.
Yes,
in comedy.
right? It's like really not that hard.
Yeah, like no sexual harassment allowed. So I always think about what it's got to be like to be a comedian, because you've been inside this whole time. You've been doing Zoom shows. I listened to you on Katie Nolan's podcast. You got engaged before the pandemic, and correct me if I'm wrong, but your fiance is a comedian.
We're married now. We got married right before the pandemic.
Oh, okay, so you got married. Yes.
Yeah, we got married. So our first year of marriage was locked in our home together.
Oh my God. And you both, well, first of all, congratulations. And you're both comedians?
Yeah. So he is very much in the sports world more than I am, is like a sports creative. And then does stand up less than me now, but is still very much in the comedy world. Okay.
So what was that like? You're doing Zoom shows, you're working on material. He's, I assume, like very close in the same proximity.
Yeah.
How did you succeed? Asking for a friend. I'll hang up and listen.
So he definitely could hear me talking shit about him on Zoom shows, if that's what you're asking. And I'd come out of my office, he'd be like, something you want to tell me? I'm in there like working it out, in front of 7 people. And he's like, what's going on, Meg?
You're like, it's a bit.
Yeah, usually he's not the only person sitting in the show. But he didn't do any Zoom shows either. And he was like, I truly loved them. I realized maybe laughter is not something I even need. I'm sure I do, but I just need to be able to talk. But he is very supportive. I like to think I'm supportive of him. He left the room so I could do this. He said he was going to a giant sneaker store. And I support that, he's going there and we'll never be able to afford a house. So we bend, we fit into each other well.
That's similar to my boyfriend left and he accidentally gave away my tripod that holds one of my lights. So, it's like we have to also make it work in the panty.
Exactly.
I find it curious, so many comedians, we've all been through the pandemic, but they're all, you're writing material about the pandemic. Yeah. How, and I know it's like a lot of personal stuff, but how have you made sure that the jokes you're writing aren't similar to anyone else's about this?
I talk a lot about my marriage. I talk a lot about my sports perspective. And I just, when I first started, someone gave me advice that was only do jokes that you could do. Just you could do. And then you have less overlap with people if it's something that's so specific to you. And that comes with kind of developing your voice too.
I love it. That means, you're grinding. You're grinding just like a whole lot of athletes that we want to get to and talk to.
I am an athlete. Yes.
You're an athlete. You're a mental, funny athlete.
I am mental Simone Biles. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. That's way more difficult than what Simone Biles does. I think. I think definitely. Okay, we have a whole lot more we want to get to with comedian Megan Gailey, guys. Don't go anywhere. This is Drinks with Binks.
Hey everybody, I am Rachel Bonetta. I'm on FS1's Fox Bet Live, and I just had Drinks with Binks. Cheers.
Welcome on back to Drinks with Binks. I'm JSB, joined by comedian Megan Gailey. We're sipping on a bunch of different random drinks here on the show.
I'm cranking through this casino mimosa, if I'm being honest, too. I'm
well, that's what you should be doing. That's one of the many things you should be cranking through in Vegas, including, I know that you are friends. I know this because I stalked you and then I texted her, but friends with friend of the show, Rachel Bonetta.
Yes!
And I saw that you guys on Twitter were at Dave & Buster's, and you are a beer pong champion. Gotta ask, because I just finished a work assignment where I had to play wine pong. I'm still recovering from that. But tell me, I sucked at it. I've never been able to get the yips. How do you do it?
Girl, you just got to go to a Big Ten school. Those are the training grounds, Like, some schools create diplomats, some schools create doctors. Purdue creates beer pong champions because we're the cradle of quarterbacks. So it's like, I am channeling Drew Brees. I am channeling Kyle Orton when I'm...
All right, so you have a lot of motivation.
The Dave and Buster's game was easier too. I think they set it up for you to be successful.
Well, I wish that was the case, because I went to what would be not a Big Ten school, but definitely a party school. As David Letterman says, Queen's University was like top 5 party schools.
Okay.
That is just for a reference for 1997. But I just couldn't. I was like, I didn't have the arc. Anyway, I understand that now, that just gotta think about the champions. So you are a fan of many different sports teams, we saw. What team, what sport are you dialed into right now?
So I'm watching the NBA playoffs, and my beloved Pacers are not in it. And then the Lakers are my husband's team, and I'm a huge LeBron fan. So now I'm just kind of I want every series to go 7. I'm sad about the Suns sweep because, obviously, Suns in 4-man is a cultural icon now, but I just want everything to go long. I want everyone to have a good time. I turn into a true mom of being I hope everyone stays healthy and plays their best, and I just want to see the theatrics of it. I'm definitely all in on the Dodgers right now. Would love to see them defend the title, and tennis is in its full swing.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I love Wimbledon. Wimbledon and the US Open. So the back half of the summer is major. Oh God, it's just beautiful for a tennis fan. I've turned on Djokovic hard, so I am not celebrating.
Was gonna ask you, because a French Open win, Australian Open win, he's one Grand Slam away from tying Nadal and Federer. Probably having one of the most underrated top of the sport athletes.
Yes. I was saying to my husband last night, it's I'm a Federer fan. My grandmother, rest in peace, she was a Rafa fan, loved him. And I used to love Djokovic. It was oh, he's funny, when that gets out about athletes and you're okay. And he did seem funny. He's obviously so beloved in his home country. And then the last 2 years, he's just been on the wrong side of every single debate and every single decision. I've been oh, maybe you are a cartoon villain, actually, because he just is so difficult to, when you hit that woman with the ball, I do not think that was intentional. So I'm not even chalking that one up, but I've turned on him hard, and I do think he does not get the credit he deserves as one of the GOATs, because we just talk about Federer so much as the GOAT. And Nadal less so because his dominance is on clay. But you look at Djokovic, and I think 9 of his Grand Slam wins have come at the Australian, which is considered 4th out of the majors. And so I think that's maybe what hurts him a little bit. But to be able to win on hardcourt grass and clay in 1 calendar year, that is crazy impressive.
Yeah, he's halfway to, doing the whole Grand Slam. But I understand, he's the villain. It just takes one thing, one ball hit at a woman, boom, you're the literal Joker. Okay,
well,
I want to go back.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was going to say
we'll do a deep dive on Djokovic another time.
Okay.
Whatever,
you're no one is here for tennis. No one is here for tennis.
Yeah, literally no one's here for anything. Okay, except for basketball. But how do you feel about LA's team now being the Clippers, being Clipper Nation Los Angeles?
It's so my husband and I went to game 5 of the last series, Clippers, and there were more Kobe jerseys there than any Clippers jerseys. Yeah.
Wow.
More LeBron jerseys than Kawhi jerseys. I mean, in LA, it's so obviously Lakers that I think it's for the best that the Clippers are getting their own stadium, because it seems strange even being in Staples watching them play. And, you know, they have to cover up the banners. Like, it's just it's Lakers Dodgers LA. Like, that's what they care about. And I feel bad for the Clippers because of that. But I'm like, once they get their own stadium, I think it'll be better for them. They just need their own house. They need their own house.
It's like 2 people breaking up and like one person still lives in the house, but like they're not really paying rent. They kind of suck. And I don't know, it's bad now.
But I love them. I'm the last person on Earth that likes Paul George, so I do feel for them. I feel for them.
I don't like them right now because I'm a Toronto Raptors fan, and Kawhi can go off because he left us, but he won us a championship, so whatever. Speaking of Hollywood and LA, we on the other side of the break have a casting call to do with Megan Gailey, because she's going to help us figure out what shows and characters athletes are a part of. That was a tease, and we'll be back on Drinks with Binks. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, I'm Darius Leonard, and I had Drinks with Banks.
Welcome back into Drinks with Binks. I'm JSB, joined by comedian Megan Gailey, and she's also a big sports fan, so we thought we would base off the fact of her podcast, I Love a Lifetime Movie, and cast athletes in these Lifetime movies, because that's what we do here on the show, is really weird, stupid games. So I'm going to give you a couple athletes based on your sports fandom, of what you told us was a mixture of Indianapolis and LA. And so then you just tell me what kind of character you think they'd be in a Lifetime movie.
Okay.
You got it?
This is a Venn diagram of my dreams.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, let's begin with former quarterback Andrew Luck. What kind of character would he be in a Lifetime movie?
Okay. Even the former, it still like hurts me. You know, I'm the wife that got left. I'm like still not over it. So Lifetime movies, they open hot. Like you know what the conflict is like in the first 30 seconds. So I'm imagining he is laying on a table and he has like those electrodes like put on his head, and they're doing all sorts of crazy experiments to him, and he's trying to scream, being like, no, no, no. And then he wakes up and it was a dream, but it's foreshadowing for his body has been sold and is being used for science while he's still alive.
Oh my God, did you just create like a whole movie for Andrew Luck right now?
Yes.
I think that we just found Andrew Luck's next protege. Wow, that was deep, dark, early.
But I think he could. I would love to see him act. I think it would be really. He's studious.
Well, he has acted in Parks and Rec.
That's right. That's right. So
pretty good.
I mean, he's got an IMDb. He's ready to go.
Ready to go. Okay, someone else who's been acting and is a part of a different type of movie, but LeBron. What kind of character would LeBron James be in a Lifetime movie?
I would love to see LeBron play a villain and be like a lot of times if neighbor is in the title, the neighbor is insane, you know? So we're going to have him be like the cool neighbor. And you're like, oh my God, this like tall, awesome basketball player is my neighbor. But what he's really doing is like going through your trash, stealing your identity, and then like using that information to like commit crimes, because he can't commit crimes as LeBron James, but he like takes on the neighbor's identity to commit crimes. Can't you see him like poking his head out of a window like that? I would love that. I would love it. And then
going through your old like medicine cabinet stuff. Wow, that's very specific. I love the specifics of these characters. Okay, let's get into Reggie Miller. Let's go back to Indy.
Okay, so Reggie it's a cyclist, is like Tour de France level cyclist now. So I think he is something like a Batman, like someone who helps, like the police. We can't rely on them to solve any crimes. And so Reggie is like on his bike racing and getting to crimes faster than the police and able to like tackle people. And then when he solves a crime, he lifts up his shirt and shows his sunshine belly button tattoo, and then you're like, oh, that's his Batman signal, the belly button tattoo.
Wow, what a wild ride. Okay, I love the idea of him just like on a bicycle beating the cops to everything.
Yes.
Okay, final one. Logan Paul. What kind of character would he be in a Lifetime movie?
He would be like a meth dealer. He would be like, he is like someone okay, yes. You see like a sweet girl and you're like, she is on the right path. She is going to school. And then she's like made a tragic error when you see her dating this man. And that is Logan Paul. And you're like, no, it's very Mother May I Sleep with Danger, but it's like Mother May I Sleep with a YouTube star, which is worse than Danger.
This is a documentary is what you're saying. It's like real life, basically.
Yeah, I guess maybe it could even be like a mockumentary, because like I can't trust him to be acting. So you're just like, be you. And then everyone else is acting around him. And you tell him to even get him to set. You're like, it's a music video, but it's not. It's like a film that he's the villain in.
I love it. Oh my God, Megan, it's no wonder you're a comedian, but also a writer. And now you have and also hosting Lifetime podcast. I love a Lifetime movie. I think that you have a whole bunch of premises for some very interesting movies starring athletes in various roles. Thank you so much for doing this. And guys, we have a whole lot more to get to on the other side with Megan Gailey. Don't go anywhere. Subscribe to the Fubo Sports YouTube page for clips and full episodes. Follow us at Fubo Sports on all social media channels. Also available in podcast form wherever you find your favorite pods. Guys, we've had an awesome time drinking and binking with comedian Megan Gailey. And Megan, where can we find all of your awesome work next?
I'm on Twitter at Megan Gailey. Instagram, better Megan Gailey. There was a Megan Gailey, obviously. Had to send her a message. And then the podcast is called I Love a Lifetime Movie. And the show that I wrote for is out on HBO right now. It's called Pause with Sam J. It comes out Fridays at 9 p.m. And go Colts and go Pacers coaching search. That's really what I need to go well right now.
Yep, you gotta, it's small victories here. And we know that friend of the show, Jamel Hill, tweeted about Pause with Sam J. So that's how you know it's good. And also that it was written by, I don't know if you're on which side of me when this is on TV.
There's an amazing, for sports fans, there's an amazing interview she does with Ricky Williams. People are saying it's like one of the most incredible interviews they've ever seen. Ricky like really gets into who he is. And it was, as a sports fan, it was like a dream come true to even just watch that.
Okay, that is so great to hear. Thank you so much, Megan, for joining us. And guys, if you want to see any of our content, many of the thousands of interviews we've done. By the way, we won a gold telly. Let's talk about that again. I already mentioned that a couple episodes ago. It's been a while. We were off for a couple weeks with Comnable. Okay, you can follow us at Fubo Sports on YouTube. That's where all of our amazing content is. And until next time, bottoms up, bitches.